from the side that were, well, the side wasn't washed out from the match that was washed out against Nottinghamshire at Clifton Park, York on Friday. So Josh Sullivan, who made his debut there, retains his place. And of course, well, I'm led to believe by the match referee, I think we call him these days, don't we? Not the CLO, Will Smith. Both sides were pretty keen to play, not just Yorkshire, who we thought it was, who were wanting to hang on because, of course, 2 points for Yorkshire today would be a bit of a fillip with play, well, from what I saw earlier at least, not taking place at many venues around the country in this competition. Warwickshire, though, have beaten Northants.
Is that good?
Oh, have they?
Well,
let me just update that.
You tell
make
me.
Sure that's correct.
You tell me. You've got all the information at your fingertips there. Well, Ben Coates going to bowl the first over from the pavilion, and he's going to bowl it not to Mitch Wagstaff, who's faced the first ball in the last two matches that he's played, but to Harry Kame, who pushes it out into the offside. And there is no run underway at Queen's Park, which is good news for David Griffin, who was fretting over a second match abandoned with toss. We did have that earlier in the season. He wasn't massively pleased. I think there was a game against Glamorgan. Mitch Wagstaff made his debut in that despite not taking to the field as the gazebo threatens to collapse in on us. Code bowls a swing and a miss from Harry Kame, and it goes through to the keeper. Water bottles everywhere. It's an absolute shambles, I'm afraid, at Chesterfield at the moment because the wind is very strong, and the chaps on the PA who organised the PA here have been exceptionally helpful all day, and now they're fixing the gazebo as we speak, which is very, very good of them. We actually started a little bit early, I thought. As Cody's in again, a little ramp reverse. Oh, and it goes through the hands of the fielder and away down to fine leg for 4 runs. A fielder made a valiant attempt flying through the air to try to catch that at short fine leg. Wasn't able to get there, Matt Waite. And it's gone away for 4 runs, and Derbyshire are up and running. It's a terrific effort by Waite there. It's a position that if the ball doesn't come straight to you, you've got virtually no chance. Short, fine leg on the edge of the 30-yard circle. I mean, it's a ridiculous position to be in. 4 without loss in the first of 10 overs as Cody's in again, and Kame gets a short delivery that he pulls into the leg side. There'll only be 1 run there, 5 without loss, Derbyshire, in the first over. 2 balls of the first over remain.
I think the drama's over now, and I can actually see a bit of the play.
Yes, and well, I knew you hadn't seen that dramatic dive because you were trying to save all your worldly goods from flying onto the pitch.
Lancs Worcester abandoned without a ball bowled. Kent made 105 all out, Hampshire 20 for 1 chasing them. In this group, Notts 73 all out.
Oh, no.
Glamorgan 14 without loss, needing 60 to win off 19 overs and 5 balls.
Code around the wicket to Wagstaff, who's played at that one. It's left him and gone through to the keeper, and Code just gives him a bit. The 17-year-old opener. Don't touch it. Don't touch the ball.
It looks like it was a 23 over a side game in Cardiff, but they can't have lasted that, can they, for 73, Nottinghamshire.
No, it's a shame, isn't it, really?
There's been more cricket at Chester Street, because it's always sunnier up in the northeast.
Aye.
Essex made 227 for 6 and Durham 128 for 4 in reply, 20 overs to go.
Final ball of the over. It's a 2 Wagstaff by Code, and it's just pushed into the offside, fairly straight. And there's no run. 5 off the over, 5 without loss. After 1 of, I've written 20 down here, I'm an absolute fool. After 1 of 10. Shows you what I know. I'm just going to look up that Nottingham. I really like the look of that Nottinghamshire. Been bowled out for 73. Matthew Waite, I believe, is that?
It is Matthew Waite, bowling from the
pond end.
Pond end, okay.
I think. Some call it a lake. I'm not sure it's that big.
Matthew Waite then from the pond end with a nice big netting behind him. He'll be hoping that doesn't come into play here. And on strike, Harry Kane runs it down to short third man, where it is fielded by Josh Sullivan, but they get through for a single, 6 without loss.
Nottinghamshire scored their 73 runs in 20 overs and 2 balls. Well batted.
bring the crowds back. It's to be fair, Yorkshire are there on Thursday, and it is tough going to score runs at Cardiff, isn't it? It is
top order batsmen 9, 3, 8, 1, 3, 1, 2 and 3. They were pretty poor last week.
So the left-handed Wagstaff back on strike, approaches Waite as he comes into bowl, and he's got something on that. It's got it away, flat bat really through the covers. Was in the air for a little while. Will Frayne chasing it down, and they're back for 2. The outfield you would expect to be very ponderous today.
A bit sluggish, wasn't it?
After all that rain, it has rained a lot, folks. I know I've put a couple of videos up. Not sure you could see it that well on there, but
no, we all had a look. Very good.
It has rained a lot, rather a lot. Here's Waite, right arm over the wicket. And nicely played this time by Wagstaff, who knows he's got that area to score in through extra cover with the field in, as long as he can get it up and over. And he did that. It's 4 runs through extra cover.
He's a kid with something about him, which Wagstaff, as I say, didn't play in his first match, if that makes any sense. They had a toss, but there was no play. His second match down at Northampton last Sunday faced the first delivery, out leg before wicket, first delivery of the match.
Here's Matthew Waite, who has, of course, been among the wickets in this competition. And Wagstaff this time tries to pull away and play a little ramp, really, over the top of Harry Duke, but misses out. Not the best of executions.
He's 17 years of age. I know there's lots of youngsters playing. You must have a couple of youngsters in there. There's a couple of names that I certainly don't recognise.
Do you remember 17?
Vaguely. I wish I knew then what I know now.
Here's Waite again, goes short. Wagstaff comes down the track to him and gets the ball away square on the offside. Good bit of fielding out there on the boundary between. Johnny Tattersall returned the ball, and it was George Hill who came storming around the boundary edge and flicked it up into his hands. So what should really have been a 2 was kept to 1. 13 without loss in the second of just the 10 scheduled overs for each side in this one. And here is Waite again. He's straight down the leg side though, so inevitably that will prompt the horizontal raising of arms. And another run on the total. Umpires Ben Debenham and Hassan Adnan. Match referee Will Smith, as I mentioned earlier. Here's Waite again. It's gone short. Poor delivery, you've got to say this. And it's been smashed away. Got the treatment it deserved there by Harry Kane, who finishes the over with a boundary. So 13 from that first Matthew Waite over. 18 without loss. Derbyshire after 2. On being put into bat by Yorkshire, who won the toss. And if you're just joining us, since the game started, then Yorkshire won the toss just the second time in this competition and put Derbyshire into bat. So that's the end of power play 1, where 2 men were inside the circle. Now 4 can be dispatched for power play 2. Didn't get an official nod on that, but presumably it must be 2, 6 and 2 for the power plays. And Matthew Revis at this pavilion end to come into the attack for Yorkshire. Just trying to get the field sorted with the choices of where to put your men here. They've gone with, well, final leg was down on the boundary edge, but he's now been brought up inside the circle. Matthew Pillans has been dispatched out to the mid-wicket boundary. George Hill is parading around on the cover boundary. They've got a regulation point. The man is up inside the circle. Matthew Waite at short third man. Gary Balance at extra cover. Ben Code just inside the circle at mid-off. Looks like Long On has gone out as well. Can't see him from our commentary position inside the gazebo, as Revis' first delivery has been lofted wide of Ben Code. And after plugging, as it landed about 5 short of the boundary rope, it just about made it over and has brought Wagstaff 4 runs. So 22 without loss into the third. And of course, it's going to take a while to get through these 10, because every time the ball goes anywhere, as Gary Balance has just been showing, he'll somebody's going to have to get the rag out of the pocket and keep it dry. Here's Revis again, number 77 on his back, down the slope away from us. And that is Wagstaff, again, seen to good effect, driving this time straight to Benko, but he's deep enough just inside the circle to enable the batsman to get through for a single. It's Johnny Tattersall, actually, who was at long on, has been switched to long on now to the right-handed Harry Kame, just to the right of our commentary position.
He certainly hits the ball hard, Wagstaff, doesn't he? When he connects, he hits the ball hard. Good start for Derbyshire, this.
So 23 without loss. Revis going over the wicket now to the right-hander, who leans back and tries to look like he was trying to loft that one over the top of Will Frayne at point, or maybe just get it away behind him, but misses out. And when you've only got the 60 deliveries to bowl, every dot is rather valuable.
Every ball matters.
I've heard that.
I can't remember where. I can't remember
some sort of competition.
Yeah.
Here's Revis again. And that is turned nicely off his legs by Kame, a step right across to create the space down the leg side. Matthew Waite has given good chase, but still can't bring the ball back in, and noticeable the slide into the seating, I think it is, or maybe a fence in front of the seating, a little green mesh fence.
There is. It's like a net, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which, I recall the story of the net. They tried a net in the county championship for one season in the early 1900s. Derbyshire scored 22 off one ball.
So that was a boundary, 27 without loss. Oof. And Kame going long this time in front of our commentary position, and that would have been pretty much straight to me had Johnny Tattersall not got quickly round.
I've always liked Johnny, haven't you? Always liked him, because that was travelling.
Spared our blushes. It was going pretty swiftly. Single.
Wow.
So Wagstaff back on strike.
Yeah, he got points for hitting the net. And a fielder went there and fielded and got tangled in the net.
Code now also been dropped out to long off, and good delivery from Matthew Revis, who saw the batsman step away to leg, followed him with a Yorker length delivery as well. So the ball went between batsman and leg stump, but therefore not wided. And a nice dot to finish the over. But it's a pretty good effort so far by the Falcons. 28 without loss after 3, Fletch.
Yeah, well on course to beat Nottinghamshire's 73 in their game against Glamorgan, which is pretty much all I'm bothered about now. As long as they beat that 23, I'll be a happy 78 rather. I'll be a happy man. 28 without loss, and we're going to see Matt Pillans, I think, for the first time. We're going to see a lot of bowlers for the first time early, and it'll be 2 overs per bowler, making up the 10 or maximum of 2. Who knows? Gary Balance might do something funky and give everybody an over, including the wicket-keeper. It seems unlikely.
Yeah, a bit of league cricket, yeah. Junior cricket, everybody gets an over.
Yeah, give Dukey a go.
If you bowl well, you get a second.
So here is Pillans from the pond end here at Queen's Park in Chesterfield, bowling to Harry Kame, who misses that one. Trying to cut it away. It was a bit too close to him for that, really. Could have done with pulling it or just tickling it down a fine leg. I couldn't tell you if there was a fine leg. There probably is, but we can't see. Away to our left-hand side. We've retreated so far into the gazebo because of the rain. We haven't really moved further forward, and I fear if we move forward from where we are, then the connection may come loose. Nobody wants that. Or perhaps you do. Who knows? 28 without loss.
There's a couple of fourfers in this comp so far, Matt Pillans. 4 for 26 on Friday against Notts.
You do well to get one in this. I don't have to be many...
Well, funnily enough, these are the sort of games where batsmen are going gung-ho.
Yeah, true enough. It'd be quite amusing, wouldn't it, if anybody gets their either high score or best bowling in a 10 overs aside game. Could have done with Hardisfield Jeune. He's played a lot of this 10 over cricket. Pillans bowls. That's off an edge down towards third man. Waite comes in off the boundary to do the fielding. And the batsmen go through for another single. 29 without loss now. Actually, Mitch Wagstaff could beat his high score in this form of the game because what's he on now? Is he on 16? No, he's on 12. His high score is 16. It's only his 3rd time he's batted behind. The gentle hum of a generator. as Pillans comes into bowl, and that one is smashed straight back down the ground by Wagstaff, and that's gone for 4 runs. Very flat batted, almost a baseball shot out to centre field. Terrific blow. And he does indeed equal his high score in List A cricket. He's moved on to 16 not out, Derbyshire to 33 without loss in the 4th.
He was a useful young laker, as you say.
Imagine that.
Oh, way.
No, absolutely, yeah. When I first moved to Yorkshire and somebody asked me if I was laking, I had no idea what they were asking me. I was about 9 years of age.
You still don't now?
I said,
59
I'm not sure. You have to tell me what it is. Pillans in, takes a couple of steps into the leg side and cuts it away. That's another beautiful shot. Once it had gone past the fielder at point, Will Frayne, it raced away to the boundary, and it's another boundary for Mitch Wagstaff. He moves on to 20, 37 without loss in the 4th.
Yeah, nicely played. From this angle, I thought Will Frayne had that covered. Un-Frayne-like to not get down and stop that. He's just kicking the turf, so maybe it bobbled in front of him. Maybe he just missed it. But certainly not the norm. I thought he'd have saved that.
Yes, he didn't look very happy with himself, but it was hit very hard, as Wagstaff has been doing. 20 not out, he is 37 without loss. Derbyshire, and Wagstaff pushes this one on. There's a misfield there, that's going to go all the way to the cover boundary. I fancy, is it? No, there's a sweeper out there. It went straight through Gary Balance as he moved across to his right. The batsman come back for 2, 39 without loss.
Yeah, clearing the boundary is going to be worth sort of more, if you like, isn't it, than playing shots on the ground here, because of the slow outfield. So if you can get somebody who can bang a couple of sixes for you.
Yes, we haven't seen a 6 yet. Not many balls haven't been scored off, and that's also going to be key. As Doidge said a little earlier, dot balls, gold dust, as Pillans is in, and that's pulled violently into the leg side, and there is a dot ball, as it's fielded by, it's either Josh Sullivan or Will Luxton.
The latter.
Thank you very much indeed. He's no number on his back. End of the over. 39 without loss, 11 off that.
Yeah, Josh Sullivan's got number 4 on his back.
He has got it on, hasn't he? Yeah. Oh, yeah,
so there's only Will who's not got
not
numbered. He's in academy still, and therefore, apparently, we're told do not carry a number.
All right. Unlike Mitch Wagstaff, who's still in the academy and does carry a number.
Oh, interesting. There you go. That was the reason given when I asked last week. So George Hill coming into the attack at the pavilion end.
Notice when the public address announcer gave out the teams, he didn't give the numbers anyway. And there are no scorecards, and it's just in 1 to 11 on the scoreboard, so nobody's any the wiser.
Harry came on strike on 15 then. George Hill, looks like he bowled a slow one first up there, and he's got it away down to short third man where Josh Sullivan fields, and they get a single. 40 without loss. And we're,
do you think it's a good score? Do you think 100 would be testing?
Of course it would, I think, yeah. Yeah, 10-0, it's got to be, hasn't it? Especially when you've got no time to have a look at it.
We've got to go from the start, haven't we? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it is still doing a fine job so far for the Falcons. Ben Code just dispatched out to the long off boundary, just away to our right. Gary Balance also just making an adjustment and asking Matty Revis to move a little bit straighter at mid-wicket. Here's Hill coming round the wicket, bowled him. A step right across there did Mitch Wagstaff to try and play a little scoop over Josh Sullivan, who he'd seen come up at short fine leg, and he's been bowled middle and leg, neck, and I believe the expression is crop. 40 for 1.
Certainly is. 22 or 14 balls, though he's done his job, got things going at the start. 4 fours for Mitch Wagstaff. And I think losing the first wicket with the score on 40 in the 5th over is decent. I think, as you said, batsmen haven't really got time to play themselves in. Here's a man in form, though. Tom Wood got his maiden List A century against Nottinghamshire. And at 55 balls, it was the second fastest all-format century in Derbyshire's history. So he was in a bit of nick on, was it Friday?
It was Friday.
Was it Friday, yeah.
After Thursday, you mean?
I can't remember when it was. Was it Friday? No, it was Thursday. It was last week. It was good. It was a good knock, though. Very memorable. It was a terrific knock. Local boy, another academy product, although he is 26, 27 now, was released by Derbyshire back in 2017. Actually did a stint of commentary with me. Here he reminded me.
Must have been a highlight. Hill is in, and Wood plays it out into the offside first up, while Will Frayne fields at point. There's no run.
More for me than him, I fancy. Yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten all about it, to be brutally honest with you. And I was brutally honest with him as well. Said, oh, what a dude that was sitting next to me.
Here's George Hill over the wicket and stepping away to leg and flaying this one through the offside is Wood. He's got it away wide of Ben Code, who was inside the circle at mid-off. And you really do have to give it some to get it across the boundary here. It is very slow, this outfield, and you could just see as it passed Ben Code, it's already starting to slow up, but he gave it plenty of bottom hand there, didn't he, as well?
Fair play to these players for playing, because if you look on the pitch, we're right on at pitch level, but you can see muddy footprints, can't you? So, I mean, he's soft out there.
Here's Hill in, and that one has been whacked up in the air, top edge, but he was playing a way that suggested that was one of his options from the shot. I think he was trying to get it away through extra cover, really, but he'd gone at it hard. And it had the legs to get over the top of Sullivan and go down to third man for 4 more, so 48 for 1. Not yet at the end of the 5th over here. Yorkshire are going to be chasing a score. Significant score by the looks of things. The other thing to consider here, Fletch, is that having said what you've said about the pitch, it might not be that easy for the Derbyshire bowlers running in.
No.
On a bit.
Absolutely.
The run-ups have been largely covered, so it may not be too bad, but you'd have thought a little bit of moisture under there, so it might not be quite as handy for them running in on footmarks that Yorkshire might have churned up a little bit here.
Agreed. No hybrid pitch here at Chesterfield, of course.
Here's Hill to Wood again. This is a good Yorker this time, and has been pushed up to Tattersall coming in off the long on boundary, and that will keep them to 1. End of the 5th over then. Another productive one for the Derbyshire Falcons, with Wood already racing on to 9. And Harry came on 16 there, 49 for 1 after 5.
I think we're going to get some spin here, are we? Judging by the where the bowler is standing, he's currently in conversation with Gary Balance.
Josh Sullivan.
Left arm leggy. Right arm leggy, no, just a leggy. Yeah, that's your right arm, isn't it? Thanks very much. I like a left arm leggy, though.
Do you?
I do. There aren't many around, but Lintop's one, isn't he? Warwickshire. So that's a terrific art. So he's going to be bowling initially to Tom Wood, who pinched the strike. He's on 9 from 4 deliveries. How will he take to the leggy? He's taken 2 minutes by clattering him straight out to the mid-wicket boundary, and he's been caught. A fairly straightforward catch as well.
Will
Frayne out there on the boundary. And Tom Wood, who made a century last time out, has perished. First ball to Josh Sullivan. Derbyshire 49 for 2 in the 6th.
Yep, 9 for Tom Wood. Yeah, it was pretty regulation, wasn't it, really? Yeah. But you understand it. He's got to go after the bowling. He was successful and have a pretty healthy strike rate despite his cameo at the crease. 9 off 5. So good effort from him. Did a little bit of damage on the scoreboard. But yeah, just lofted it straight to Will Frayne, who's got very safe pair of hands.
He looks a bit disappointed, Tom Wood, as you can expect. No batsman likes getting out, but it's not really a game where you can worry too much about your own personal performance. It's all about, A, making sure you bat the 10 overs, but B, you score as many runs as you possibly can. 5 yards, 10 yards either side, who knows? Sullivan comes in and bowls to Came, who crunches it down towards long on for a single. 50 up for Derbyshire, 50 for 2. Decent sized crowd, considering there was barely anybody in the ground once it had rained for the 17th time. They've all come flocking back from Chesterfield town centre and all the various hostelries they've been, unless they were just sitting
Retail park, Charlie.
Sitting in their car, yes. Next delivery is stumping. He's walked straight past that one as Brooke Guest, and he's gone first ball. Easy stumping for Harry Duke. And Brooke Guest goes 2 wickets in the over for Josh Sullivan. Derbyshire all of a sudden are 50 for 3.
Yeah, and I've got to say that was a super delivery from Josh Sullivan. I think he got it fairly well up there, eye line wise, and Guest clearly wanted to come down and use his feet. Beaten in flight, wasn't it? Beaten by, done up like a kipper in the flight. Harry Duke had all the time in the world to whip off the bails.
Skipper Alex Hughes has gone out ahead of Finn Prentice. I think he went out ahead of him against Notts, but I wouldn't swear to it. 50 for 3. Hudson Prentice has been as high as number 3 in this competition, which is probably 4 too high for Finn Prentice, although he does regard himself as a batsman who bowls. It's his bowling that has been the standout this season. Off to Sussex next year. Back to Sussex next year. Sullivan in and bowls to Hughes, who sweeps straight to the man at square leg, and it's 3 wickets in 4 balls for Sullivan. And all of a sudden, Derbyshire, who were 40 without loss, are 50 for 4.
Well, what a turn up, and the young man, who of course made his debut just the other day at Clifton Park in York, took a wicket, took one of the 5 that were taken that day, and he's back in and among today in some style. What an over.
Two first ballers.
What an over. So, super stuff. But, I mean, again, the Falcons, it's one of those games, they've got to keep going at the ball, and he's going to get opportunities, but you've still got to be good enough to put the ball in the right areas to get the batsman to engage with him and find the field. And he's done just that. So, full credit to him.
Absolutely. Matthew Rebis. Does he go Matthew or is he Matt?
Either. It's fine.
Excellent. Matthew Matt Rebis with the catch at square leg. Potentially not both. Sullivan, 3 wickets in 4 balls, as the new batsman is Finn Prentice, and he pushes that up towards long off for a single. As Georgie said, a terrific first over from him. He might get another one. 51 for 4. They've still got to just keep going hard here. Harry Kame, who's still out there on 17 from 13. As Sullivan's in, he goes for the reverse sweep, misses it. He goes through to the keeper. It's the end of the over, and what a terrific over that was. 3 wickets in it. It cost him just 2 runs. Derbyshire, after 6, are 51 for 4 now. And just 4 overs of their innings remain. The batsmen have a chat. I can't imagine it was anything other than just hit every ball you can. You never know.
Well, that was a fairly incredible over, to be honest with you.
Can you imagine waiting all day, watching it rain, and thinking, oh, great, we're going to have a bat here. 2 first bowlers from 2 batsmen, because Alex Hughes won't bowl. He's still playing as a batsman only.
So, there we go. Matthew Pillans from the pavilion end with his little skip at the start of his run goes short, and after the heroics, I should say, of the previous over with the ball, heroics with the bat first up here, because that has gone for a maximum over mid-wicket, and it was beautifully struck by Finn Prentice.
Yeah, Finn Prentice. He's capable of hitting a long ball. Not necessarily he'd always planned to do it second ball of his innings, but needs must. Good blow. There's a strike rate of 350. A member of the public's touched the ball. Oh dear. What were you told? Don't touch the ball. Might even have been the steward, but it's got to be sanitised. It has been sanitised, which is good news.
We've all been sanitised during the past.
Haven't we just? I've got some in my pocket, actually, if you want any. I just carry a little jar around. Oh, not a jar. That'd be silly.
Anyway, here could be another wicket with Hudson Prentice getting it aerial towards Tattersall, who was inside the circle at mid-on. Looks at the skies, Hudson Prentice. It did drop short of him. I think he was looking at the skies because, as he's just done, repeating the shot, He was hoping to hit it somewhere over the top of our heads and out of the ground. He got a single, so he's on to 8. Harry Kane been there since the start, 17. 58 for 4. And here's Pillans again. And this is once more short of length and flicked this time aerially out towards George Hill, who's coming in off the straight mid-wicket boundary. Keeps them to 1.
I think it's important that Harry Kane stays out there now, because we're Matty McKinnon, Anuj Dal, Thompson can bat, but these two lot on their shoulders, and if Harry Kane can stay out there, at least there will be an established batsman. Should anything happen to Finland's Apprentice, of course, I hope it doesn't, clearly.
Well, it's him on strike, and he's gone short and over his head this time, and that's going to be given as a no ball. Matthew Pillans.
Harsh.
He's, of course, seriously quick.
Do you have a view on
right.
that? The bowlers have got nothing, have they?
No.
They've got absolutely nothing. You can't bang one in short because it'll be no ball. You can't put it slightly down the leg side because it's wider. They've got absolutely nothing.
There is nothing in the way of margin for error, so he's conceded the no ball. He's gone full this time. Good attempted Yorker as well, and he has been dug out nicely by Finn Hudson-Prentice for a single to Johnny Tattersall just inside the circle at mid-on. So he's on to 9, and came 18 back on strike. 62 for 4 looks a little bit better, doesn't it, for Yorkshire, with just that 3 for 2 by Josh Sullivan the previous over that's really sort of pegged it back to some extent. We've still had a 6 in this over already, and that could be more boundary runs. It is. He's got it away. Has Harry Kane wide of Tattersall, and George Hill can't get round from his boundary position out by the scorebox to our right to prevent another boundary. So 2 boundaries in the over. 15 he's gone for so far here, Matthew Pillans. So having dragged it back there, Josh Sullivan will be scratching his head, wondering what the more senior player's doing here. Ben Code with his hand over his face.
Yeah, I don't want to let anybody know what he's saying.
No.
I can't see what he's saying from here, but
I think he said 99s. Can you believe the 399 over at that van on the far side? Wouldn't pay that in Ripon. Short ball here from Pillans, and this could go all the way as well. It's just going to drop, I think. Oh no, George Hill has signalled 6. Thought it might have dropped just short. He was in a much better position than I as he was running around, and that's a very, very expensive over from Matthew Pillans, who's gone for 21 in over number 7, and put the Falcons, if not right back on track, even further in front of where they were a couple of overs ago.
I think I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. No, that was a good over for Derbyshire. An enormous hit from Harry Kane, who's moved on to 28 from 17 balls with his first 6. And we're going to see Josh Sullivan continue. What a surprise. He's going to get his get a 5 for here. I might have to go. He might just race through this in time. One more update for Radio Derby to do. Sullivan is in. Down the track comes. Wow, Finn Hudson-Prentice. Sullivan manages to get a hand to it. I don't think it was on the full. And as he got his hand to it, Harry Kane had left his ground. The ball rolled towards the stumps. He had to scramble back. That's a terrific piece of work by Sullivan. That I would have described far better had I not just been sitting here admiring it. Terrific piece of work. It is mid-job after all. As Hudson-Prentice waits, Sullivan bowls. Down the track he goes. He smashed that one for 6. That's enormous. They're going to need a new ball here. That one's gone over the bridge and into town. That is a big, big hit from Finn Hudson-Prentice. He moves on to 15, and Derbyshire are 78 for 4 in the 8th over.
I think it was Ron Pickering, didn't he say, with regard to Bob Beeman's record, World Jump record?
I have a vague recollection.
It's an enormous one. Oh my word, it's an enormous one.
It was an enormous one.
It was absolutely huge.
They found the ball. It's going to scupper my chances of commentating on the rest of this over, though. So, Doiji, it's over to you. No pressure.
No. Okay. Josh Sullivan. Arms folded like you do. It's one of those things, isn't it, when you've just been hit for a 6. I know the feeling, Josh. I've been there many times. Just get the ball back in me, and I want to run in again. He's got the double teapot on now. He's not really sulking or anything, don't get me wrong. He's just having a chat with Gary Balance, but that's just the sort of body language, isn't it, often of a bowler when he's been dispatched. And that was excellent use of feet to get that away over long on by Finalizing Apprentice. So we got this break in play while the ball is they're attempting to retrieve it. A tree-lined ground here, of course, at Queen's Park, and it did brush fairly high up through one of the trees.
Oh, this is terrific, Simon.
So it'll be soaked through. There'll be that to cope with as well. Spin bowler, of course, trying to grip the ball. Looks like we've got it back, and we're ready to continue. 78 for 4. What riposte do we have from the 21-year-old Josh Sullivan? Just his second game in the senior ranks for Yorkshire. Well, he's bowled that one flatter and quicker, and Hudson Prentice twirling, really, trying to hit that one with the one iron somewhere into the beyond. And he got it right on the toe end of the bat into the covers, and has had to settle for just the one. 79 for 4. That brings Kane back on strike, and he uses his feet now, and he's lofted this one into the offside, I should say. Gary Balance running round and gets underneath it at cover and takes a comfortable catch in the end. And that is the end of Harry Kane. Caught by Balance. A 4th wicket then for Josh Sullivan. So that's a pretty good riposte, I guess, to that huge hit earlier in the over. And Harry Kane has gone for 28 from 18 deliveries. So what a day for Josh Sullivan, standing around with the rest of the team. We saw him come out onto the field, back in again. There was a bit of warm-up going on with the rugby ball. They were back in again as the rain came once more. Will they, won't they? Gets out there on the field, takes 3 wickets in 4 balls, and adds a 4th wicket to that in his second over. And the new man at the crease.
It's a good question. He's not facing.
Hudson Prentice on strike because they crossed, and he's just pulling this next ball.
Matty McKiernan.
Short delivery out into the mid-wicket region for a single. Matty McKiernan then.
Another of the Derbyshire all-rounders, really. McKiernan, leg spinner with a remarkable action.
28 off 18, by the way, Harry Kane. As Sullivan's in, McKiernan nearly became a 5th Sullivan victim there. Got a little inside tickle on it. It's run straight behind Harry Duke. Ben Code stops it short of the boundary, and they settle in the end for 1 run. Super little spell of bowling from Josh Sullivan then, who has made a name for himself in his second list day match. And I make that 4 for 11 off 2 overs.
Remarkable figures, aren't they, really? 4 for 11. Didn't quite manage to get his fifer. Well, I don't think he'll worry too much about it. He's done his job. 2 overs to go. 81 for 5. So they've surpassed Nottinghamshire, haven't they? So I'm happy. That's all that matters today. Nottinghamshire had 24 overs in which to score runs, but they managed to capitulate for 78.
Coming back to
73.
73. Sorry, I was giving them extra runs there. Ben Code, who bowled the first over of the innings for just 5 runs. It's the third power play. Very exciting. Entirely pointless, of course, but it is another power play nonetheless. But the last 2 overs, what a waste of time. His Code bowls, and he's driven up to mid-off, where it's fielded by Matt Pillans, and they go through for a single, which means that McKiernan has doubled his score. He's moved on to 2, 82 for 5.
One of the complaints about PA announcers down the years has been that their over-enthusiasm for their job, but I don't think you can really accuse the
John Brown
PA announcer of that, can you?
No, absolutely not. Code in again, balls to Hudson Prentice, who drives him straight back over his head for 6. That's his 3rd maximum Finn Hudson-Prentice, and that was a very clean strike indeed.
That's a magnificent shot, Fletch, isn't it? He's just got his front leg out of the way, and the key thing, as with all cricket shots, I guess, is watch the ball onto the bat, and he hung back. And, yeah, brilliant shot.
He's leaving. Hudson-Prentice waits now and pulls this one out towards the mid-wicket boundary, and that's gone for 4 into the covers, which were used extensively throughout the day, now beyond the boundary's edge, and that's 10 off 2 balls there. 11 in total from the first 3 in the over. Derbyshire up to 92 for 5 now, with 9 deliveries remaining in the innings. What kind of further damage can Finn Hudson-Prentice inflict on Yorkshire here? 27 from 11 deliveries. Codes in again. This time he bounces him. That's not going to be a no ball because he advanced, and quite right too, umpire. Was one for the over the shoulder, but you've got to give the bowler something, for goodness sake. My computer, oh no, there we go, it's caught up now. 27 from 13 deliveries, 1 4 and 3 6s for Finn Hudson-Prentice as Code bowls to him, and he pulls this out towards the mid-wicket boundary for 6. That was another terrific blow. They're just waiting, the umpire's just waiting to see if it did cross the boundary. My eyes suggested that it did, and there's the signal. Another huge blow from Finn Hudson-Prentice, who, since he announced he was leaving Derbyshire to go back to Sussex, has been in sensational form with the bat. Got into the 90s down at Taunton, got a second successive half-century against Northampton, and who knows, he's on 33 now. He's only got 7 more deliveries, or Derbyshire have only got 7 more deliveries. Perhaps a half-century might be beyond him here, as Code goes in to complete his spell. It's a full toss that's punched away, and he's only going to get a single, which is good news for Derbyshire, I fancy, because it means he's kept the strike. End of the over. 99 for 5 with 6 balls to go. There was 18 runs off that over. Another punishing over.
Dear me. So 5, 13, 10, 11, 10, 2 conspicuously, 11, 9, and then 18.
Yeah, 18.
Did I say 11? Sorry, 21 I should have said from Matthew Pillant earlier, then 9, and then 18. So a couple of particularly severe overs as far as the Yorkshire bowlers are concerned.
Waite went for 13 when he bowled the second over of the Derbyshire innings.
13, you can cope with the odd 13, it's the 18s and the 20s that really do you. So Hudson-Prentice on strike. What's Waite producing? He's gone low and full, and that's a good delivery. Hudson-Prentice gets the single, but in off the long off boundary is George Hill to keep him to 1. 100 up.
Decent.
First ball of the last over. It's 100 in 9.1 overs is good in any form of the game, by anybody's standards. So it's going to take a bit of chasing. Is this? You see, you win the toss, stick them in, and then if you're chasing a score, that ramps up the pressure on your younger players. We'll see how they fare. Not done yet for the Falcons, and there we go. Big hit this time out into the onside, which has rattled away beyond Johnny Tattersall. So if you think the outfield is slow, that didn't bounce many times. A couple, that's all, and McKiernan getting his name on the boundary count as well. He's on to 6, 104 for 5. 4 balls remaining, 5 off the over so far.
Ben from the ground staff just doing his Superman impression.
Waite again, back of the hand, he rolls it over the top this time. There could be a catch for Will Frayne. That's a very good catch as well, diving to his right to take that at mid-wicket, and it's the end of McKiernan. Caught by Frayne, a second catch of the innings for him, and a first wicket of the day for Matthew Waite. 104 for the loss of 6 wickets, Derbyshire. Yeah,
good catch that, wasn't it? Because it may well have even been going across the boundary, and he had to move to his right to get there. The batsman did cross. McKinnon looks a little disappointed, but he shouldn't be, because, well, he had to go for it, didn't he? They've got to try to score off every single delivery of this final over. With 104 on the board, and 3 deliveries remaining in the innings.
Anuj Dal is the man at the non-striking end. Hudson Prentice fires this one out into the offside flat bat to Gary Balance at short extra cover, and he's kept to 1. So that brings the new man Anuj Dal on to strike, and I reckon there's just 2 balls left in the innings. 105 for 6. So a little bit of damage limitation at the moment in this final over for Yorkshire, but still 2 balls to go. Here's Waite, and O'Dal misses. There's a shy at the stumps from Duke, who also does the same, and they've got through for a bye. So potentially vitally, as who knows, as far as the outcomes of this game's concerned, Hudson Prentice is on strike for the last ball. Seen him clear the netting way down at the pond end of the ground.
Quite high, that netting, isn't it?
Yeah, the fish could be in danger again here. What will Matthew Waite produce? 106 for 6 with a ball to go.
We're worried about the people in the little boats.
Yeah. Not too bothered about them. Here comes Waite then, final ball of the innings, and it's a good one because Hudson Prentice can only get it away for what's going to be a maximum of 2 here. They're coming back for a second, and they're going to get there because Tattersall, coming in off the long on boundary, couldn't prevent it. But good riposte from Matthew Waite in the final over. They finished with 9 runs from it on 108 for 6. But I will put it to you, David Fletcher, that will be a pretty tough chase in 60 balls, 109 to win.
Yeah, absolutely. 1-4 and 4 sixes for Finn Hudson Prentice in a knock of 38 not out from just 17 deliveries. It's a pretty decent effort. Anuj Dal is very, very quick between the wickets and was always going to get back for a second. And Finn Hudson Prentice may even open the bowling as well. So that's how much they're going to miss him, Derbyshire, when he eventually departs at the end of the season. In fact, he'll depart from after the penultimate game because he won't play in the game down at Hove when Derbyshire go down to Sussex in the final round of championship matches in December or whenever it is. 108 for 6. I think that's going to be a tricky target. You can't say that the Derbyshire batsmen haven't at least posted something exceptionally competitive. And George Grimshaw just warming up there with the big medicine ball. Never really understood that. Medicine balls, what's that all about? The card, Mitch Wagstaff first to go, bowled George Hill for 22 from 14 deliveries. Tom Wood went caught by Will Frayne off the bowling of Josh Sullivan at the beginning of what turned out to be a remarkable over. He made 9 from 5, and then Sullivan had Brooke Guest stumped by Harry Duke. First ball he faced, and Alex Hughes was caught by Matthew Rebis at square leg to the first ball. He faced 3 wickets in 4 balls for Sullivan. Harry Kane made 28 from 18, and Matty McKiernan 6 from 4 before he was very nicely caught by Will Frayne on the boundary of the bowling of Matthew Waite. Sullivan incidentally picking up the wicket of Kane, caught by Gary Balance, a miscued shot that was ballooned into the offside court, running round from cover by the Yorkshire skipper. Finn Hudson Prentice 38 from 17 balls, 1-4 and 4 sixes, and Anuj Dal made a very nice naught not out. Went through for a bye and then a rapid 2.
Yeah, but it was graceful between the wickets with that run. I thought particularly graceful.
He is an ant now. Ben Coe, 2 overs for 23. Waite, 2 overs, 1 for 21. Rebis, 1 over for 10. Matt Pillen, 2 overs for 31. George Hill, 1 over for 1 for 10. And Josh Sullivan sticks out like a sore thumb. 2 overs, 4 for 11. So he went at half the rate of any of the other bowlers. There was 1 wide and 1 no ball bowled by Matt Pillendry. It was a no ball for height. David Griffin's come round to say hello.
The last time we played Yorkshire in the Telly
Yes.
1991,
Yes.
scored 105. The game's not necessarily moved on.
And lost. There we are. I don't know if you caught that, but the gist of it was Derbyshire made 105 in 10 overs. The last time these two sides played a 10-over contest here. Derbyshire made 1 more run and still lost the game. So there we go. Oh no, they've scored 3 more runs this time, haven't they? 108 for 6. He is full of very useful information, and some not so useful, but to take the rough with the smooth, really, don't you? Most of the time.
Yeah, sort of the Bertie Bassett of statistics, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure he'll thank you for that, but you might be right. But he's very good company. He's kept us going at times today. At times we've had to walk away, but he's good company. Is David Griffin. The number of backroom staff that Derbyshire now pay to have. I know Wayne Madson's out there warming up some of the fielders, but there's somebody there I've never seen before who's standing on a medicine ball. There's somebody else wandering around with his mask under his chin. I've never seen him before. Head of cricket, Dave Houghton, is currently giving Anuj Dal some catching practice. He's still got his left hand ring finger on his left hand strapped up from where he broke his finger. Anuj Dal, he's still not 100%, excuse me. I'm fairly certain. Ajmal Shahzad is out there with the bowlers where he should be. He's the bowling coach. And they've got a pretty important job to do here. Derbyshire have had I think it's generally acknowledged as a wretched season. Just suddenly started to pick up a little bit with that win over Notts. They had the rain off against Glamorgan when they got their first point in the competition, 3 wins in the T20, and just starting to show some green shoots.
But we are, of course, back here at Queen's Park, where it always happens for Derbyshire against Yorkshire, doesn't it? It doesn't matter what the format. We could play for a month, and the outcome generally tends to be the same.
Well, yes, yeah. I still remember Matt Critchley's incredible over in the T20 against Tim Bresnan. And they needed something like 19 to win and got there with the ball to spare. Critchley was hitting the ball to all parts in that over. He's not with us for the Royal London, nor Lewis Reed. I know Yorkshire have been decimated, haven't they, by that other competition, but test call-ups and that kind of thing. Derbyshire without 3 in the 100 and a couple more. I know, impressive.
3.
Yeah, I don't know what some of these players like Finalizing Apprentice have to do, but Roloff van der Merwe keeps getting a gig, and Finalizing Apprentice, I'm delighted to say, still here.
How have you coped without 3 players and still managed to finish bottom of the table? Well, no, not finish bottom of the table, because if you win this, you may not necessarily be bottom.
I don't really understand the question. I'm trying to compute the question. Well, basically, they're without their entire top 4, well, they're without their entire top 5, in all honesty. So
it's 5 now, not 3.
Oh, no. Billy Godleman is injured. Wayne Madsen is injured. So, obviously, they're not playing at the moment. They'll be back for the Billy Godleman will be back for the championship. They're hoping that Wayne Madsen plays some part. Alex Hughes can't bowl because he's recovering from a side strain, so he's playing as a batsman, unfortunately, out first ball today. So, it is, as most teams are in this competition, relatively hastily thrown together. They are boosted by the fact that Ravi Rampal was signed up for this competition. Unfortunately, didn't get much practice because he went up to Durham with the T20 side, didn't play, but was in the same coach, and therefore was one of the players who had to self-isolate when Derbyshire's game against Essex was abandoned after the first day. They then didn't play the remaining T20 matches, as you'll know, Dodgy, because you were due at Derby on the Sunday, and didn't play in that game against Shropshire either, which was supposed to be the warm-up game. A number of those warm-up games. Did Yorkshire play against a minor county in the end? Did they play Northumberland?
Yeah. Northumberland at Scarborough,
yeah.
Shall I give you some bowling figures from Yorkshire?
Well, I gave them, but you can give them again if you
no,
want.
I was obviously switched off.
Yeah, I think you were drinking.
No, I don't want to repeat them.
I think you might have been sneezing or something. I don't know what you were doing. I only rattled through them because I thought we might need to fill a bit of time, but as it turns out, look at that, they're all back.
They're all back, and it's a change in the batting order for Yorkshire. Interesting change as well, because Will Frayne is out there, and Harry Duke, who has been opening. You can only think that this is because they don't think it's his game, and it's more of his game, the latter his being Matthew Revis, who's gone out. to accompany Will Frayne. But it's Frayne who's going to be on strike to face Finn Hudson-Prentice first up.
The man who does everything, Finn Hudson-Prentice. Everything except go to the barbers. A tremendous head of hair tied up in a knot behind his...
A bun.
At the back of his head. Is it a bun? I'm not really a hair expert.
It's like a bun from here.
Yeah. Don't look at me like that.
Could tie the beard in a bun.
Yeah. Hudson-Prentice in, bowls to Frayne, who gets a... Well, he reaches for that one outside the off stump, and he gets 4 runs for it down to a wide third man. I'm entirely sure that's where he wanted to place it, but that doesn't matter. The result is exactly what he wanted. We've got 2 number 18s out on the pitch, and I keep meaning to ask why, but Tom Wood is also wearing number 18. It's one of Alex Hughes's sweaters, I think, that he's wearing, or shirts, for some reason. I'm sure he's got his own somewhere. Perhaps just chooses not to wear it. 4 without loss. Yorkshire as Finn Hudson-Prentice comes in, and that one's cracked away for 4 more. Don't bowl it short. Just waited for it to arrive and cut it away to the point boundary. 8 without loss in the first over.
But it just sort of releases a little bit of pressure straight away, doesn't it? That couple of fairly ordinary deliveries to kick things off. And Will Frayne's been good enough to turn them into boundaries. That was a good shot, second one.
Would you have bowled Finn Hudson-Prentice first up, seeing as he was out there smashing the ball to all parts? I'm not sure. Hudson-Prentice is in again, and that one's beaten. Frame goes through to Brooke Guest, the wicket-keeper. Better delivery, but the damage has largely been done already. 8 without loss. 9.5 overs to go. 101 more runs required.
Yeah, and I suppose it doesn't matter when you get them, as long as you get them. But if Yorkshire could get a couple of healthy overs in the first 3 or 4, then it'll just ease the pressure on the rest to come.
Frayne waits and lifts this one down the ground for 6. A glorious shot into the pavilion away to our left-hand side. And the first maximum of the Yorkshire innings off the bat of Will Frayne. He moves on to 14 without loss, or 14 rather, and Yorkshire are 14 without loss. He's without loss too. That was a terrific blow.
It was. I mean, Finn Hudson-Prentice showed how to play it in the previous over. That was at least as good as, wasn't it? I think it's gone a little bit further and just stepped into it and timed it beautifully. Super shot.
14 off 4. Hudson-Prentice is in again, and this one is just guided out into the offside for a single. He's had enough of hitting the ball to all parts. Will Frayne, he moves on to 15, as do Yorkshire. 1 ball left of the first over. Could be a test of Alex Hughes's captaincy, this. I always say the shorter the game, the tougher it is to captain, because you've got to be thinking all the time. At least he isn't also going to be bowling. Well, he couldn't hold on to the ball there, he just dropped it. The final ball of the first over. Matthew Revis is going to be facing. Revis is going to be facing. And he guides this out to the backward point boundary for 4 runs. And that has been a terrific opening over for Yorkshire. 19 without loss after 1 in pursuit of 109 to win. They need 9. What do they need now? 90. That's a fairly straightforward sum. 90 off 9 overs.
Yeah, he's played well in the tournament so far, Matthew Revis. He's made contributions with bat and bowled pretty well as well. It's sort of a bit of a discovery with the ball this year in sort of professional cricketing terms anyway. But he got his first senior 50 down at Taunton in the defeat there last Sunday. Another 20-odd during the week. He's had a 40-odd. And he looks like he can play, I've got to say. So good that they've given him an opportunity at the top of the order in this shortened form of the game. Ravi Rampal then into the attack for over number 2. So there was one of those healthy overs I was talking about from Yorkshire's point of view to kick things off. Here is Rampal, goes short. First ball pulled by Will Frayne, and he's got it away wide of the man inside the circle at short, fine leg, and picked up another 4 runs. George Scrimshaw just watching it soaring by, a couple of bounces up away beyond the left-hand side of the pavilion. So Will Frayne rattling on already, 19. I reckon that's just the 6th ball he's faced.
I don't think there's much future in bowling short.
No, I think Yorkshire showed that, didn't they? Matthew Pillans, in particular, when he went short, disappeared. And even at the serious lick, he gets the ball throughout. 23 without loss. Rampall into Frayne, goes short again, but he's dropped it into the leg side this time. And he's got 1. It's a dodgy-looking throw from Finalizing Apprentice, but Harry Kane backs up and keeps them to that 1 run. 24 without loss after 8 deliveries.
Yes, Apprentice has been asked to do an awful lot at the moment, and just got his throw a bit wrong there.
I wouldn't have had a problem with him opening the bowling to follow up on what you were saying in the previous over, just because he'd been out there batting. I mean, it's only a 10-over game, isn't it? He's not been out there for a couple of hours with the bat. Rampall then from the pond end, short. Revis hasn't got the full shilling on this one, but he's got enough on it to get 4 runs through mid-wicket. It bounced, plugged, and slowed up somewhat, but still had the legs. So 9 off the over already. 28 without loss.
Good power play.
Yep.
The 2-over power play. They can't have 2 men. They've got 2 men out on the leg side now, so nobody out on the offside. As Mitch Wagstaff comes in to short 3rd man. Hudson Prentice and Anuj Dal both out there on the boundary on the leg side.
Yeah, don't bowl it short and wide of off stump, Ravi. Oh, what's he done? He's bowled it wide of off stump, but not that short. And Revis stepping away to give himself some room. Missed out. I think I'd probably give him the benefit of the doubt. That was a reasonably good slower ball.
Yeah, it was a slower ball, wasn't it? But
didn't bounce.
Direction-wise, it wasn't great, was it? But interesting to see how big George Scrimshaw does here, because he does bang it in.
And that is a rare dot. In fact, if not the first dot of the innings. If it isn't, it's only the second, I reckon. Here's Rampall again. Now then, Revis has got this one clothed to mid-on, and unfortunately for him, hasn't been able to take full grasp of his opportunity at the top of the order, but it's one of those things. Matty McKiernan taking the catch. And so that is the end of Matty Revis. Caught McKiernan, bowled Rampall for 8. Yorkshire losing their first in the second.
Yeah.
28 for 1.
Revis didn't get hold of that one, bit high on the bat. Simple catch for Ravi Rampall. My word, did Derbyshire need that? Just to they need to score, or need to take wickets rather, just to slow things down here, because Yorkshire at the moment are racing away with this one. You never know what 3 or 4 wickets might do. They've got to keep plugging away the Derbyshire bowlers. I'm sure they will.
Will Luxton, talking of Will, is the new man at the crease. 68 on debut, 31 not out in his second match, and then got promoted from 7 to 3. And hit one straight up in the air off his 3rd ball and was caught. That's cricket, isn't it? That's the game. Will Frayne is on strike, though, because they crossed, and he's just dabbed a little one out to point where Harry Kane fielded to bring about the end of the second over, with Yorkshire on 29 for the loss of 1 wicket, comparing that with Derbyshire's 18 without loss at the same stage. But, of course, we know there was still a couple of pretty significant overs to come later in the piece for them. Second power play being signalled.
Looks like Matty McKiernan, having taken that catch, is going to get a bowl here. A bit of leg spin from McKiernan. That will be fair. The leg spin we've seen so far has been pretty decent. That didn't sound good. 4 for 11 from Josh Sullivan. Round of applause from the kitchen. Something's fallen over. I did hear there was word that the tent at the far end of this little press gathering was starting to blow away earlier on, in which here's McKiernan in and bowls, and he's just slapped into the offside. It's a dot ball to begin with. That's Frayne, isn't it?
It is.
Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slapped it straight to Alex Hughes, the real Alex Hughes. An extra cover. Next delivery takes a couple of steps down the track and smacks him back over his head for 6. Well, he's not hanging about here. He's had one look, pushed it out into the offside. Second delivery of the over, straight back down the ground for 6.
Good use of feet, I think, wasn't it? And he sort of, the way he played it, gave himself a bit of a chance if he didn't get it quite right. If there was any turn at all, that he would have still got something on it and got it somewhere for runs.
Frayne waits, and this time goes back and misses the ball as he tries to cut it. Backs off into the leg side. 35 for 1. Frayne on 27 from 11 deliveries.
I'm surprised you can see the board past Griff's
I
big...
can't see anything. I can't really see the board anyway, if I'm honest, as McKiernan bowls. That one's pulled into the leg side. That'll be 4. Backward of square. Short delivery. And he just pulled it away down into the green netting at the far end of the ground. 43 for 1. They're going to make fairly short work of this Yorkshire at this rate.
Nicely played, wasn't it? Stepped right across outside off stump. Knew that it was a good area if he could get it away in the gap and found it.
Frayne up to 31 now. Waits as McKiernan starts, stops, and then comes in again, bowls. It's a full toss, and it's crashed out towards the long off boundary. They're going to come back for a second, and they'll get there comfortably. Good running by Luxton. Back to the danger end, running his bat in no danger of a run out. It's 43 for 1 now.
33 off 13 for Will Frayne so far.
McKiernan in again from the pavilion end. That one's turned nicely by Frayne into the leg side. Pick up a single. Lots of applause. 43 for 1, 35 to Frayne. End of the over. That's another expensive one, isn't it?
14 off it.
I'm glad you did that maths then.
So they've gone 19, 10 and 14 so far. Yeah, 43 for 1 compared with 28 without loss, but I'd still say a couple of big overs were to come for the Falcons, although there was also a very two-over as well.
There was a two-over, wasn't there, which is a bit of a concern. Here is, looks like Big George Scrimshaw's going to have a bowl from the pond end. No, I was going to say this could go anywhere, and that's not fair, because George is a good bowler, but he hasn't had an awful. This is only his second game of List A cricket. He's sharp, and he's tall.
Interesting.
Good combination.
Two young players fronting up here. Will Luxton, numberless, shirt hanging out as well. Scrimshaw then from the pond end sets himself a little bit of a jig at the start of his run. Tall, rangy figure, isn't he? Right arm over the wicket, and his first delivery, it sees Will Luxton trying to pull him into the vacant square leg area. There is somebody out at deep backward square, and he's presumably there for the mistimed pull. There's a big area in front of the square leg if he can get it away. But he missed on this occasion, so dot ball. 43 for 1 remains the score. 1 ball into the 4th. There he goes with the little jig again. Scrimshaw. He goes fuller this time. That's a beautiful shot. Whipped off the legs by Luxton. Now then, he's got round the boundary edge to field this one. Has one of the Derbyshire fielders. I couldn't tell his number from this distance running at the Anuj Dal. So they've got back for 2. Played it nicely, did Luxton, and I thought from the moment it left the bat it was going to be 4, but he's made good ground as Anuj Dal around the boundary to just get his mitts on that. Luxton's got going though, he's off the mark with 2. 45 for 1. Scrimshaw to singing from the crowd, and Luxton tries his luck once again. Hasn't come off for him just yet. That's 3 times now. He's tried to pull the ball somewhere in the general direction of mid-wicket. He's got his bat on 1. 45 for 1 remains the score. What were they singing? You'll understand the drunken language, Fletch. I think Fletch thought he was doing an update, but he's back.
I've been custard pied.
Scrimshaw again. Full this time, flicked off the legs once more by Luxton. Going to be kept to 1 though, so just the first signs of being pegged back here, Yorkshire in this over, with just the 3 runs from 4 deliveries so far.
He's got to get out of it now, hasn't he? He's got to get out of it. Good bit of work by Anuj Dal out in the deep. Couple of really swift deliveries that have been swings and misses. Attempted Yorker there.
Yeah, Will Frayne then, 35 off 14. 2 balls in this over for him to do a bit of damage. What can Scrimshaw produce? Gone okay so far. Here he is again. And flicked off his legs to the man just inside the circle. That was travelling as it got there to Alex Hughes. No, not to Alex Hughes. Tom Wood in Alex Hughes' sweater. And they got through for 1. So just the 4 runs so far.
Fake Alex Hughes.
You imposter. You fiend. Can Luxton find the boundary? Can Scrimshaw get out of the over? He's plonked a man now out at mid-wicket, having seen what Luxton has had to offer earlier on in the over. What's he going to do this time? He's going to go straighter. He's got it over the top of the man inside the circle at mid-on. Is it going to make it to the boundary? Yes, is the answer. So they have got out with a boundary Yorkshire. Damage limitation, though, from Scrimshaw. He managed to go for just the 8 in that over. And with that 4, Yorkshire bring up their 50. 51 for 1 at the end of the 4th.
It's only the 5th single figure over. A couple of 9s, a 5 and a 2 in the Derbyshire innings bowled by the Yorkshire bowlers. But they're still considerably ahead, aren't they? 51 for 1 compared to 39 without loss. Derbyshire at the same stage.
Interesting tester, isn't it? She's sending in a young lad who's just played 3 innings so far in senior cricket. At number 3 in a pretty brisk run chase. Seeing what he's made of in this sort of a contest.
Did all right in that last over with that boundary.
Yep.
He's on 7, 36 to Will Frayne. He'll be on strike to Matty McKiernan, who's going to continue from the pavilion end. And first delivery, Frayne uses his feet and clips it up towards the edge of the 30-yard circle. They're going to come back for a second here as Thompson reaches the ball. That's excellent running, and they might get a third here. Now they've decided against an overthrow. Thompson had to come in off the boundary, and they were there and back in no time. The 2 batsmen, Luxton coming to the danger end. Frayne moves on to 38, 53 for 1 in the 5th. As Frayne waits and launches this. My word, that might have gone over the pavilion. That's an enormous blow. Absolutely enormous blow from Will Frayne. He may well have had the legs to go over the pavilion. That was huge. Another 6 to him, his 3rd. He's moved up to 44 and Yorkshire 59 for 1. Wow.
Well, it's come back fairly quickly, so I'm guessing it's probably hit somewhere up. It must have been very high on the roof. But as you say, as soon as he got there, that was much bigger than we've seen at this end of the field so far. Massive hit. Yeah.
Absolutely massive. Gone quiet, the crowd, haven't they? Have you noticed?
Yes. Yeah.
They were quite lively in the first innings. Not so lively now, I'm afraid, the Derbyshire supporters. 59 for 1 are Yorkshire. 50 required. Next one is pulled into the leg side. That'll go all the way to the boundary as well, I fancy. It's gone over the head of Harry Kame. In fact, it's plugged and he's managed to slide and keep it in. They've come back for 3, though. So 9, 11 runs off the first 3 deliveries of the over.
Yeah, 47 off 18 balls.
4 4s, 3 6s, 62 for 1. And they now require just 47 at 8.5 and over. It was over 10, the required rate at the start of the innings. And it's plummeted. And Luxton lifts this one down towards long on. Just takes a single. Just doing his job, trying to keep Frayne on strike.
Yeah, I suppose that's the benefit, isn't it, of a player who's going so well. You just you do that. You play that bit of cricket. If you get a bad one, obviously you try and take full toll.
There's no pressure on Luxton at the moment, is there, to try and score big. If he can pick up a single, get Frayne back on strike. 3 away from a half century. There's moisture in the air. But I think we've got a match already in Duckworth Lewis. Well, the miles in front. 43 Duckworth Lewis at this stage will be the requirement. Derbyshire need wickets here. As the next delivery is smashed down the ground for 6 more. Frayne with his 4th 6. Well, he's moving Yorkshire towards victory here. A half-century for Will Frayne. 53 from 19 balls, 4 fours and 4 sixes. That is some going.
That's just a magnificent knock, isn't it? I mean, he's played some proper cricket shots as well, striking the ball so clean. Fantastic to watch.
Here comes McKinnon again. What can he do in response? Well, that one is clipped away into the offside, and there's a bit of a misjudgment there by Mitch Wagstaff. It's running towards the boundary. He's having a slide to get there now. They'll come back for 3 more. And, well, Derbyshire up against it here as Yorkshire just move inexorably towards victory. 72 for 1 at the end of that over. 21 runs from it.
So there's your big sort of Matty Pillans over negated. And, yeah, at the same stage, Derbyshire were 49 for 1. So Yorkshire have effectively got 1 really good over in hand at this moment in time. And still 9 wickets in hand as well.
They need to take wickets, don't they? Because Douglas Lewis Stern, sorry, Mr. Stern, forgot him again. 48 is the par score. So wickets have an effect as well, and that would rise if they could pick up a couple of quick ones here. Looks like George Scrimshaw's going to continue bowling over number 6. His second, he went for 8, having conceded a boundary off the final ball of his first over, which went pretty well to start with. Nope, he's been rejected because we're seeing the helmet come out, and Alex Thompson. Thanks. I've already written George Scrimshaw in. I'm going to have a word with Alex Hughes after. Alex Thompson, bit of off spin, comes into the attack from the pond end, but they need wickets. The Yorkshire supporters who've stayed throughout the course of the day, or perhaps nipped into town and come back, are in full voice somewhere. Not a huge crowd now, as you might expect, given the amount of rain we've had. There's no shelter at all inside Queen's Park for the spectators. There's an awful lot under the gazebo for us, in all honesty. But so 72 for 1, 37 runs now required. The target 109 looked a bit steep to start with. Looks anything but steep now. Required rate 7.4. Thompson is in and bowls to Frayne, who just clips this into the leg side.
I'm doing that end.
Oh, right. I'll carry on then. Sorry, I didn't realise you were precious. You carry on.
You can do all 20 if I don't mind. No,
you carry on. You're right, though.
I'll go make you a coffee, shall I?
Well, no, we did swap because I went away, didn't we? But yeah, you're right. My mistake.
Where were we? 73 for 1. There's Thompson then, and Will Frayne, Luxton, I should say this time. The battle of the wills out there, and well, he's willing that one onto the boundary, is Luxton, and he's picked up 4 runs through straight mid-wicket. He got there eventually.
And Yorkshire will win.
He's on to 12, 77 for 1. If they do, looking at the matches elsewhere...
Oh, you get excited now. I'm having August off.
Then it would enhance their chances of qualification, there's no doubt. But there's still a bit of cricket to play before then. And that's right here and right now as Luxton flicks this next Thompson delivery out to mid-wicket, having got the boundary. And picks up single. He's on to 13, 78 for 1. 6 off it so far. Will Frayne.
I knew I should have done this over.
Flying form.
I should have done this over.
Will Frayne in flying form. Thompson in, and Frayne steps down the pitch to try and hammer that back over his head, and probably a little bit too quick on it, really. Ends up pulling it round to long on and picks up 1. A mere 1 for Will Frayne. Been boundaries pretty much all the way.
Disappointing, really.
79 for 1. Not a bad over this so far, but has gone for 1 boundary. This could be a second, is it? No. Man out there coming round from mid-wicket to keep Luxton to a single. So he's steady away. 14 off 9. Still a healthy strike rate. $80 for 1. Thompson turns. And in he comes, and Frayne tries for the first time the reverse sweep, doesn't get it right. It's lobbed up into the, well, what would have been just in front of point to an orthodox right-handed shot. And he's got through for another single, so 81 for 1 at the end of the over, 9 off it.
Yeah, steady from Alex Thompson. Just the one boundary off the over, but picking singles off as well. They only need 28, and it's less than 7 and over. 4 overs to go. Yorkshire in complete control here as George Scrimshaw swaps ends unless Alex Hughes changes his mind. I'm going to write his name in though, so that'll be Scrimshaw definitely bowling from the pavilion end. Crowd being told retrospectively who bowled that last over for some reason.
Have they got the result from the previous match?
Next batsman in for Nottinghamshire. 81 for 1. Frayne on a truly splendid 59 from 23 balls, 4 fours and 4 sixes. And Derbyshire so far behind Duckworth, Lewis, Stern, it's almost not funny anymore. The DLS par score at this stage is 59. 81 for 1. It's considerably ahead of that.
Oh dear, it's raining again.
I don't think it'll make any difference now, will it? That's why Derbyshire, just if they could pick up 4 wickets, it might be interesting. They don't really look like picking up 4 wickets, if I'm entirely honest with you. Scrimshaw just counting, make sure he's got enough fielders inside the circle and realises that he hasn't. So he brings up the fine leg. I think he's Tom Wood. Oh, he's a long way away and it's getting dark. Scrimshaw bowling to Will Frayne, who's going to win this game for Yorkshire, and he is with shots like that as he clouts it away to the straight mid-wicket boundary for 4 runs. Another big blow. That's probably the longest part of the field, furthest from the bat. As a result, it bounced inside the boundary rope. Frayne moves on to 63 with his 5th boundary to go with his 4 sixes. Ball been dried there by Alex Thompson at mid-on. And Yorkshire now require 24. And Scrimshaw is in, and Frayne edges this one, and it's, well, I'm going to say it's dropped by Brooke Guest. It would have been a very sharp chance diving away to his right-hand side. The batsmen have gone through for a single. It flashed through to him. Scrimshaw's sharp. He went down low to his right, but couldn't cling on. Might just have got the finger ends to it. He'll be disappointed, Brooke Guest. 87 for 1, I think. Is it 87 or no? It's already gone on. 86 for 1. I thought that had flashed away down to the boundary, so it was a pretty good stop as it turned out from Brooke Guest. It brings Luxton back on to strike. Oh my word, he's lifted that out to the mid-wicket boundary for 6. Into the nets, away to our right-hand side. What a terrific shot that was from Will Luxton, his first maximum. He moves on to 20, and Yorkshire are within sight of victory here at Queen's Park with plenty to spare.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest delivery against anybody, was it? But I suppose one of the benefits of when you're a new player and somebody's not played against you before, they're not quite fully aware of your strengths. But in the few matches we've seen of Will Luxton already, very strong through the leg side, and that was just right there in the slot, wasn't it, for him to flick it. Landed on top of the nets away to our
on top
right,
I can't quite see the net.
The previous 4 that he called actually was almost cut off, just bounced flat at the last minute. I think the fielder out there who is
the Hudson Apprentice out there?
No, could be Anuj Dal.
Could be. Yeah, that would make sense.
It just, where I think he was expecting it to bounce up into his hand, it went flatter trajectory and just beat him to the rope. Yeah, he's Anuj Dal.
Dal, yeah.
But he weren't going to get nowhere near that one. That was well over the boundary, on top of the nets.
So they need just 17 runs now, Yorkshire. And they've got 21 deliveries in which to get them. Been a terrific run chase. Some huge blows. Luxton waits. Scrimshaw bowls to him, and he's lifted that one into the leg side. Dahl's going to take the catch and does. And Luxton goes. Whether it makes any difference in the long run remains to be seen, but Will Luxton goes for a very nice 20 from 11 balls. Caught by Anujdal. Yorkshire are 92 for 2 now, needing 17 more runs to win.
Yeah, and he's got that a little bit straighter, so he's made him play across it a bit more. He wasn't just helping it on its way like he did with the previous shot. I think he's just had to drag it a little bit more, and that's meant that the timing wasn't quite there. And as you say, as you called it, Anujdal was always looking to make the ground and make it into a comfortable catch. So going out to try and grab a bit of glory here is the Yorkshire skipper, Gary Balance, walking out at number 4.
Batsman crossed. So Balance will be at the non-striker's end.
20 off 11 for Will Luxton, by the way. So
2 4s and a 6. Good effort. Will Frane's strike rate at the moment, 256, 64 from 25 balls. 5 4s, 4 6s. He's on strike now as Scrimshaw goes in, and this one's a full-length delivery. The drives out into the offside straight to Alex Hughes. No run. Dot ball. I remember dot balls from back in the day.
You've been watching too much red ball cricket.
Yeah, dot balls. Rain in the air again. And Douglas Lewis has gone up to 67. Yorkshire still well ahead of that. Final ball of the Scrimshaw over that's cost 11, but he's picked up a wicket. He's in and bowls to Frayne, who lifts that one straight up in the air. Now then, is Wood going to get underneath it? No, it's going to go beyond him and go almost to the boundary at the far end. He manages to haul it back in. They go through for 2 runs. And it's a no ball as well being signalled by the umpire. He's overstepped. That'll be a free hit. Excellent news. Scrimshaw has overstepped. A no ball. So that saving of the boundary 4 does nothing more than just keep them down to 4. 96 for 2 now. 15. No, that's nonsense. Not many. Here's Scrimshaw to complete the over at the second attempt. There's a swing and a miss from Will Frayne. It is the end of the 7th over. Yorkshire are on the brink of victory here. 96 for 2 after 7 overs. It's been a terrific run chase. There were 15 runs off that over. Not what Derbyshire required at all.
No, the shorter form of the game. Well, it's been reasonably kind to Yorkshire this season, hasn't it, with the qualification for the quarterfinals of the T20, but even within that, they went to Trent Bridge and couldn't get it off the square, basically in a 7-over slog after the toss had been made. You might recall, I don't know, that the toss was made at the usual time. They walked out onto the field to start. Well, they were about to walk out onto the field to start. Rain came, didn't play for the best part of 2.5 hours. And then, of course, having decided to bat, they were then reduced to something 60-odd, something like that. And, well, I think Alex Hales was probably going to get those with bat handles.
Well, it would have been almost enough to have beaten Nottinghamshire today, wouldn't it? Ravi Rampal.
Rub. So Rampal up the hill from the pond end, and Balance gets this away wide of the keeper, down to third man, who shall remain nameless, mainly because he's behind
Alex Thompson. I can see him. Yeah, I can see him.
They got one anyway. That was
the
scoring result. So Balance off the mark. And
well, that's the way to do it, isn't it? Keep Frayne on strike as much as possible.
Yep.
Strike rate at 235. I think he's probably feeling in pretty reasonable nick at the moment.
Well, he got 100. He got a big 100 in the warm-up game against Northumberland at Scarborough, and he's had a couple of good deliveries.
Difficult side as well,
so far. But he's threatened to come up with a destructive knock like this, and he's gonna. Well, he was just shy of being dropped there at mid-wicket. Finalizing Apprentice, I think, coming round to try and make the catch, but it was always just dying on him, and he's got back for 2, Will Frayne. The boundaries have dried up, have they? But haven't been quite as
they don't need them,
fluid in the last couple of overs, but no, they don't really need him, and he's on to 68 anyway.
10 to win.
His work is not far off being done, but he'd love to see it through. It'd be nice, bit of a red ink, wouldn't it, this as well? take with you. Rampall into Frayne. That's a lovely shot. He's lofted it out to the man sweeping on the cover boundary, and therefore he's been kept to 1. Sun shining brightly.
Barely see that Archdale, can he?
So 100 up for the loss of 2. And well, whether they're Derbyshire or Yorkshire supporters, those who've stayed, and they're largely away to our left on the car park side of the ground rather than to the right where there are many empty seats, they've been rewarded at least with some serious hitting on both sides as Balance steps across, and he's playing a 4-day knock here. He's happy to just drop that back to Ravi Rampall and his follow through. There's no run.
Be happy with his 1 not out.
Halfway through the 8th, in fact make it 7.4. 9 to win for Yorkshire. Balance back and across, Rampall in, and Balance pushing up to mid-off. Another dot ball.
Well, they should have tried to get Balance in earlier, shouldn't they, Derbyshire?
Well, I dare say they probably were.
They probably were, yeah, you're right.
Although Gary Balance can hit the ball out of the park, I think the majority would say that the shorter form of the game is not what he's known for. Here he goes back and across, and he's happy again to just run that down to third man for another single. So tight over by the standards of what we've seen in this innings so far from Ravi Rampall there. 5 coming from it, 101 for 2. 12 deliveries to get another 8 runs.
Yeah, Yorkshire. Oh, it's the third power play though, so that could play a huge part in this run chase. I'd rather think it won't.
And the extra man out, I mean, that's going to open up a whole world of opportunities for another single.
I'm going to do something that I allowed Tim Steer many years ago to do. You should commentate on this over, because Yorkshire will win it in this over. And then if they don't, you should commentate on the last over as well. I'll just sit here and let you commentate, basically. That's the gist of what's happening here.
All right, okay. I can tell you, by the way, just as a matter of interest from elsewhere, that Glamorgan won by 8 wickets, so they're clear at the top. And looks like one match delayed by rain between Northants and Somerset, as this is a lusty blow from Gary Balance. First ball of the over from Finn Hudson-Prentice brings him 6, just to our left in the commentary position, and that has just about done it. 107 for 2, Balance onto 8. Yeah, Northants made 305 for 6. Somerset 221 for 8, need 84 off 36. So it's looking like they may lose that game.
Yeah,
DLS.
but they'll either lose it or win it, won't they?
Well, yeah. But match delayed by rain at the moment. I'm talking about on the DLS factor if we don't play any further. Hudson-Prentice in, Balance pulls this next delivery out to square leg and gets through for a single to take the scores level.
Yeah, he's just played that shot just to allow Will Frayne to hit the winning runs, which would be very apt, wouldn't it? Very apt indeed, because it's been a magnificent innings. 69 off 30. One last chant of defiance from the Derbyshire supporters.
Cheery
I think they may have been drinking all afternoon, I'm not sure. Derbyshire's only visit to Queen's Park.
Could it be a rare Yorkshire win here? Hudson-Prentice into Frayne, who steps away to leg, and that may be it. No, it isn't, because it has been fielded. It was fumbled. They were thinking about going through for the 1, but they've got another 9 balls to get it, so why risk your wicket when you're 69 not out at this stage, I say.
Dahl, I think that was a superb piece of fielding.
It was. Struck it well, Will Frayne.
Probably re-broken his finger now.
69 off 30, as you say. 31 now. Strike rate well over 200. And he waits again in the Queen's Park sunshine as Hudson-Prentice is into him. He's trying to get this one away to leg, and in actual fact, I don't think he's going to get anything on that. It'll be a leg bye to finish off the contest, but Yorkshire have won it with 8 balls to spare. 109 for 2. He said, checking with his co-commentator, that he'd not miscalculated there. And so with 8 overs and 4 balls taken to knock off that 108 for 6 made by Derbyshire, Yorkshire have what could be a vital win in this RL 50 competition, make it RL 10 as it's been today after a long, long wait for the rain. But in terms of the points table, well, we're not sure what the final outcome of today's fixtures in this group are. What I can tell you is that Glamorgan have thrashed Nottinghamshire earlier to go 10 points from their 7. Yorkshire will finish there on Thursday. And, of course, a win would definitely cement them in the quarterfinals. You feel pretty certain about that now. They'll move on to 8 points anyway today. If Somerset lose that match, and they are 9 down now chasing the Northamptonshire.
They need 82 runs from the last pair with 34 balls remaining, so you would guess that Northamptonshire will win that.
So, yeah, who knows, Yorkshire may even go into second place here on net run rates. We can't work those sort of things out. I'm not bright enough to do that.
Sort it out, Dodge. It's your job.
And there are still, obviously, Nottinghamshire and Warwickshire in the equation, but they've enhanced their chances of qualification for at least the quarterfinals as a result of this.
Yeah, I think that pretty much puts the tin hat on Derbyshire's chances of getting through.
I think brilliant note, we've got to say, from Will Frayne.
Sensational. 32 balls, 5 fours, 4 sixes. Was in control from the very start, wasn't he, really, let's face it, and was flaying the ball to all parts with some very good cricket shots, including one massive 6 that went into the top deck of the pavilion to our left-hand side. No question who the man of the match is. Apprentice had made a bit of a claim for it with 38 from 17, 4 sixes in that knock, but Will Frayne, hats off to him. It was a terrific win, and in a 10-over match, losing by 8 wickets with 8 balls to spare is a bit of a thrashing from a Derbyshire perspective. And Yorkshire, as Doidge says, have one of those rarest of beasts, a win at Queen's Park. They've got the monkey off the back. 50 overs aside, it would have been completely different. Listen, enjoyed your company as ever, Jonathan. Enjoy working throughout August in the various knockout stages of the white ball competitions while I've got my feet up at home. And we'll see you next season. Back at Queen's Park, I'm almost certain.
Will do, Fletch. And join me and Nick Webb Thursday, folks, from Cardiff, when we hope to get underway for an on-time 11 o'clock start rather than hanging around till Lord knows when. And
I get to work with Churchy for the first time on Thursday. It's Surrey at Derby.
You'll love that, my friend. You'll love that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doidge. We'll see you soon.